I got to watch a lot of film yesterday without people bothering me. I enjoyed that.
And without your son Philip consuming bandwidth while he plays Fortnite.
Or that, yeah. Or Dad, can we go play horse? Dad, let's go 1v1 outside, Dad. Come on, Dad. I mean, no thanks, Philip. Sorry, I got to do some jobs around here. That's right. Somebody's got to pay the freaking bills around here. It can't just be fun and games on the coronavirus's expense, all right? Daddy's got to watch film. Daddy's got to figure out free agency. Daddy's got the draft coming up. Kid wants to play Fortnite. He wants new skins. He wants new video games. Daddy's got to work, okay? That's what we do. And speaking of a daddy at work, what up? It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here in his man cave, decorated in Detroit Lion decor. And he brought home a microphone from the office. Very impressive.
This one's actually recording audio, though, so that's the cool thing about this microphone. And if you can hear, I do have a 5-year-old and now a 4-year-old today. She just turned 4, so we have a 5 and a 4-year-old. They're upstairs making a whole bunch of noise. I already told them no internet, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. Yes, it can screw things up in a hurry, as I learned the other day. They were all – my little girl was streaming videos. My little boy was playing Fortnite. There's your kids in the background. I hear them.
You heard them.
I like it. It's perfect. But, yeah, it was messing up. I was trying to shoot videos at home, and I couldn't – like, Kristen, who's in the control room right now directing us – she's like, well, your picture's choppy today. So Mike heard me yell at my kids to get off of all the damn computers so I could have the bandwidth. But what's up, man? You doing good?
I'm doing good. I mean, we're getting through it like everyone else is getting through it right now. It's just it's so weird and so different. I was talking to you just before we started here, and I literally have not left the house since last Friday. So it's been almost a week here, just all cooped up with a couple young kids, but feel like right now it's the best thing to do out there. You know, I know the building there in Stamford's pretty empty. It's like a ghost town in there, so we're all just taking it super careful right now.
It's like super, and I know you're totally like binge watching movies, right? That's what you're doing right now.
Here's the chance to catch up.
What are you doing all day? I mean, you're not a binge drinker. You're not doing that either. So
and I officially gave up energy drinks once again. Like, this whole thing is like freaked me out so much that I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of all the non-clean living stuff that I do in my life. I'm gonna be totally immune 100% here. So I've been scrolling Twitter like everyone else, looking for the latest update. It's been miserable.
It's weird. It is. I'm very happy to be in the office, and I've been probably smoking more pot than I should be when I get out of here at night. Yes, I've been definitely doing that. I probably will binge drink tomorrow night. I've been catching up on Curb Your Enthusiasm. All right, which I really love. The new season's great, so I'm doing that. And then ultimately, as I was telling you before we started here, I'm gonna go get tested, I think, for corona tomorrow. I'm really hoping I had coronavirus at the NFL Combine. You know, as we know, I had the abdominal pains. I was throwing up aggressively. There's been a lot of people that reported, in the studies that that's a common side effect that people are coming into hospitals saying. And I've been hoping with my no spleen, it would take some stress off me. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not that lucky, and I just still need to stay stressed out.
Same thing. My parents are in town here. My father has an autoimmune disease, and so same kind of thing. If I knew that I couldn't pass it on to anyone, that would be such a huge relief. But I feel like a lot of us aren't going to figure that out for a while. So.
No, you're right. We're not. So the hell with that. We can't figure it out. We're here to bring the entertainment, and let's do it, baby. You're all over Twitter. You're all over social media. What's going on? Go ahead. You lead the ship from here. Go ahead.
So you owe me a dinner. You owe me a lunch or a dinner because we made the bet that Tom Brady would go to a different team. I didn't have any idea what team it would be, and I would never have guessed the Bucs, but I'm right.
You won. You're right. I forgot all about our bet. So I owe you a burger and some fries or whatever you want to do. I'm down for that. We're due to make some lunch anyways. Now, I don't know, I think I deserve some of the credit since I'm kind of the guy that broke the story that said it's going to be New England or Tampa Bay.
Yes. And I went back too, Chris, and I did, because I remember I was like, man, Chris has talked about Tampa Bay the last couple of times he brought up Brady. And I looked back at a couple of our podcasts, and you would always throw out Tampa Bay as one of those possible destinations, even after you said, he's looking to go to a team that can contend this year, which I don't think the Bucs can't contend this year.
Right.
I think you think the same thing. You did keep bringing up the Bucs, and so I will give you credit there that they were always kind of one of those teams on the outside that you were talking about. But one thing that I'm kind of curious to ask you about, and we talked about it before with Bruce Arians, and you've talked a lot with Mike about the Brady situation, and you've covered a lot of the topics. I don't know that I've heard you, because Arians' offense, the quarterback is expected to stand in the pocket. And you've brought up that's the one thing that you don't know that Brady has the capability to do anymore, and didn't last year in New England. So the fit with him in that situation with this offense.
Yeah, no, I think that's just to start there, that's my number one concern. I like a lot of the other aspects of why it works, and I'll get into that. But yes, you've heard me state it many times, okay? Yes, that's my only issue with Brady right now. It's my only issue when I look at his game, is just that little reluctancy to hold on to the ball, to say, hey, there's a guy coming open 25 yards downfield. Yes, I'm going to have to take the hit, but it's going to be a big play. I thought I saw, and you heard me say it throughout the year, a number of games last year in situations where I just felt like, oh, the guy's going to be open, I need to take a big hit. Oh, let me just get it out to the short receiver and just get the ball out of my hand and not take the hit. Now, so that's a concern. And just because I look for justification sometimes in those things. Some guys can see film a different. I had a number of people throughout this Brady process, when they evaluated Brady or were watching free agents on the Patriots or whatever it may be, they had heard me say that, and they thought, ooh, I had coaches basically what I'm telling you in the NFL go, I think you're right. I think that's the number one issue with Brady right now. Now, do I think he can get better at that? I do. First off, when you go to a new team, right, Ahmed, or a new team, you're just went to a new team here in NBC, right? I'm kind of new here too. You want to prove your worth, and, I'm good, and I'll do all those little things, and I'm going to prove to you that you made the right decision. A guy like Bruce Arians has tremendous people skills. Byron Leftwich is a great dude. Brady's going to want to prove he's worth the money, and I'm Tom Brady, to where I think those little things can make you tougher in the pocket, let's say, to where he's going to go, damn, coach is telling me to hang in there and throw the ball down the field, and I really like this coach, and I want to please him. And I do think he can be better there, and it's not unrealistic to think that he can improve in that compared to what I saw this past season.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at all the past quarterbacks that have played for Bruce Arians, and they're amongst the tops of air yards downfield. They're expected to stand there, wait for those receivers to get deep downfield. The good thing for the Bucs is they got a couple good and fast ones that can get down the field pretty quickly, and so that could help too. So
definitely.
Yeah, that was the one thing, the one fit. I was like, okay, it seems like a good fit with the weapons there. And we said last year, there were multiple times where we said, Chris, we were like, we like this Bucs team.
Yes.
This is a really interesting, fun team, both on the offensive side of the ball, but also on the defensive side of the ball, and they've been able to retain a lot of that.
Right. They're one of those teams, regardless if they had Brady or not, I would have put an asterisk next to say, watch out for the Bucs next year. Now, of course, that goes up to a bigger asterisk now with Tom Brady there, but you said it, Ahmed. He's got weapons around him, real weapons. Mike Evans is, annually one of the most underrated receivers in football. I mean, gosh, there's not many people on planet Earth that are 6'5" and 230 and run 4.37. That's what kind of freak he is. Chris Godwin, a beast. They got two really good tight ends. I mean, Cameron Brate's really good. O.J. Howard has the physical potential to be a superstar. So, though that alone has got to make Brady feel good. And you're right about what you said with Arians throwing the ball down the field. And this is why I like it too, because Brady's arm is still top notch. I mean, I know we talked about that a lot during the year too. I mean, he's still got the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. So he is physically going to be able to deliver on the things that Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich ask of him in that offense when they want him to throw a 50-yard post or a 25-yard out route or whatever it may be. Brady's going to have no problem with that. So that's a good thing too. And then, Ahmed, like, I don't know if you've ever had a job where you feel like you were underappreciated there, or maybe, but like, he's going to get that whole aspect too. He's going to he's going to feel rejuvenated. That organization, the Glaziers are a great family. They're one of the great owners in the league. I love them. We just talked about Bruce Arians, the way he is. Jason Light, the GM's got a great way about him. These are guys you would want to hang out with and have a beer with, right? And he's going to get that aspect of like, damn, my coach is actually caring about me. He's bullshitting with me. We're joking. He's going to have a whole new, look at football as compared to the way things are done in New England, where sometimes, it feels a little cold, to say the least.
It totally makes sense to me because, honestly, you hear a lot of people saying, for good reason, like, why would he ever want to leave New England, a place where he's had so much success for 20 years? But I'm a guy I've had the same job for about a max of 5 years and moved all around the country and been in New Jersey and at MLB Network and then out in the West Coast in the Bay Area. Like, I get it. Like, it really is true. It's a cliche, but you only live once.
That's right.
And why not experience something at the end of your career for Tom Brady, exactly for the reasons that you pointed out right there? It's a different vibe. You're maybe more appreciated there. You get to have a new experience because at the end of the day, that's pretty cool too, is playing 2 more years in New England better, and you're going to remember that more than a totally new experience in Florida? I don't think so. So I don't blame him at all for wanting to do something completely different.
No, me neither. I mean, good for him. I never would have thought it would have been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really wouldn't have. Even though I know I brought it up, and even when I had found out from people in the know in the situation, there was the rumor that the Chargers were involved. I had been told very early that there was no way he was going to go to the West Coast unless it was for the 49ers. Other than that, I had been told they didn't think it would happen. And, I just still, even when it came down to Tampa, New England, I really thought New England was going to swoop in at the last second and just give him enough money to where he said, okay, this is great, let's do it one more shot. But didn't happen. He's in Tampa. It's really cool. And I'm pumped because I have a special place in my heart for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for sure.
So I want to get your opinion on who now the favorite is in both the NFC South and the AFC East.
Okay,
I think those are fascinating discussions.
Right.
But real quick, the market for Brady seemed kind of small, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, when you look at it, it's like if it doesn't work out in Tampa or Jameis Winston has a great last couple games and they stick with Jameis there, he goes back to New England, or else he has to make that sacrifice and move out West Coast. I mean, it really seems like it was a very, very small market.
Yeah, well, again, even though he's Tom Brady and he's amazing and, I like the guy and he's still got a strong arm, I think, people saw, a little bit of a slope down as far as his play is concerned. 2, when you sign a guy like Tom Brady, there's just you're asking for a media frenzy. I mean, that's all Tampa's going to talk about in their locker room for the next year. I mean, that's every guy in the locker room. That's all it's going to be talked about. The coaches, all of that. Plus, he is 43 years old, so there's the risk of that him going, okay, that's it, man. I took a beating this year. I'm done. And then you're back in the same boat again next year. And then one other thing too that I just think is interesting. I had a coach say this to me over the weekend, that he thought a lot of teams were scared of Brady because Brady has seen how things are done in New England for so long that this coach thought that teams would scare away because they're afraid they'll be exposed by Brady. He's going to go in and be like, what? Yeah. You do it like this? What?
That's interesting.
Coaches, yeah. You're leaving now? You're going home? What? Belichick would be sleeping here. Well, we wouldn't do it like, and I think there was a little bit of a fear factor out there with that too. So I think all of those angles, played into this whole story.
And there would be no way to justify that. You couldn't say, "Oh, it's worked for us," because no team has had the success of that.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Exactly right.
You could justify it at all. All right, so let's look at the AFC East first. So you got a Brady-less New England Patriots who have dominated that division forever. I was looking at some of the odds here, some of the NFL futures that have been updated.
Yeah, what are they?
So odds to win the AFC Championship on one side I'm looking at. The Chiefs are still on top, and then you have the Ravens. Then you have the Colts, and then you have three teams at 15-1. That is the Steelers, the Bills, and the Patriots.
Okay.
So at least according to this one place, the Patriots and Bills have the exact same chance to get to the AFC Championship game. So I guess a neck-and-neck race for the AFC East. Well, I have a hard time believing that New England is not going to be the favorite when we get to week one in the AFC East. But, I mean, the Bills have improved as well with Stephon Diggs. I don't know. That's close. I don't know who would be the favorite right now.
Well, yeah, I hear you. I guess I would probably favor Buffalo a little bit. I probably would. But that doesn't mean to say, like, I'm feeling really confident and I'm going to go to the casino and drop 10 grand on it and go, Bills are winning the AFC East. I mean, you're right. I mean, we're all crazy if you think the Patriots are going to fall off earth. I don't give a shit who the quarterback is. Jarrett Stidham, yep, I know he hasn't played a lot. New England doesn't give a shit. New England,
and they like him.
Yeah, they love him. New England went 11-5 with a quarterback that didn't play college football. All right. So, and I understand the team was really good at that time, and I understand that. But still, you know, this is still a defense that's special. The best secondary. Really right. So I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to fall off earth. Plus, we know that some of these young receivers they had last year that underperformed, they're going to be better. You know, they signed a Damiere Byrd, who I think is a really good signing for them, a wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, I think New England will still be very much in the mix, but I am going to give Buffalo the edge right now.
NFC South.
Oh, baby.
So this is where it gets interesting. So last year there was no contest. The Saints were 13-3.
Yep.
Then you had the Falcons and Bucs both at 7-9. I think the Bucs were better than that record indicates.
Yep.
You can't overcome 30 interceptions that easily.
It's hard
for any team.
Right.
So let me look at the futures now. In the NFC, to get to the NFC Championship game, it is the 49ers first. Then you have three teams at 13-2. Cowboys, Saints, and Buccaneers.
Wow.
The Saints and Buccaneers both at 13-2 according to this one website. That's another one where I have a hard time thinking that the Saints won't be the favorite come week one. Do you think the Bucs have really made up that much of a gap just with Tom Brady?
No, I don't. I'm not the Bucs, you know, again, I'm certainly, like we talked about to start the show here, like I'm aware, I'm looking at it going, damn, there's potential. But I got to see a little bit of the product first before I'm going to just make some jump like that and say that, you know. And again, like, yes, the quarterback play is going to be more steady. There's no doubt about that. That's awesome. I get that. But, you know, also this is a quarterback at 43 adjusting to a new life, a new team, a new system. It is a good division. The Falcons are going to be better, okay? Carolina, yeah, I'm not expecting a lot. I think they're going to be a pain in the butt. And then New Orleans, to me, is still in the cream of the crop of the NFC. They're not going anywhere here. So, yeah, I'm not giving them the advantage over that right now. Plus, this is the other thing we got to take into account. I love the Bucs. They signed JPP back. They franchised Shaquille Barrett. All good. The Bucs' pass defense sucked last year. You know, so, again, you got Tom Brady, and that's all that. And let me just check because I want to see exactly where they were ranked in pass defense. I think it was towards the bottom. Yeah, it's 30th in football. So, you know, also, I got to see that improve a little bit before I sit here and start going, NFC Championship game for the Bucs. Certainly improved. I feel more confident about them, no doubt. But I'm not ready to sit here and say, like, oh, they're definitely in the cream of the crop in the NFC quite yet.
So here's the real question.
Yeah.
Which team finishes with the better record, the New England Patriots or TB's new team, TB?
Man, so this is tough.
It is.
I think I'm going to go with the New England Patriots.
I would too.
I am. Now, the biggest reason, the Bucs schedule is the real deal. You know, they got to play the AFC West. They got to play the NFC North, where we could have argued that was, you know, one of the better divisions in football last year. You know, the Bears were the third best team and almost made the playoffs. And it was a down year for them, right? Yeah. And then, of course, we just hit it on it. The NFC South is no joke either. So I just look at it from that aspect. And, yes, I know it's Tom Brady, but there's more in place in New England and a formula that is proven and I like where, hey, I see the potential in Tampa, but I'm just not ready to say that yet. I can't do it.
I mean, the Dolphins might be better.
Yeah, the Bills will be better. Jets will be
Bills
better.
Will be better. You think the Jets will be better too?
I do. I think it's going to be a better division, certainly. But I'm not going to sit here and just go, oh man, the New England is screwed because Tom Brady's gone. I'm not. I don't believe that.
It'll be close. I think it'll come down to the final week or two, week 19 or however many weeks we have now in the NFL season.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to follow. Okay. Can we go through, because you've been talking with Mike about all the free agent moves, but I don't think you have given your top 5 winners yet. The teams that you think so far have won in free agency. Have you done that?
Yeah. I have not. No, I have not done that at all yet. So that's cool. I'm down for that.
I've got my top 5.
Okay.
And we can compare it against your top 5. And if our top 5 uniforms and helmets are any indication, there will be no agreement amongst these two lists.
Probably not, but it's okay. It's not easy, it's especially in these first few days of free agency because so many teams really do positive things at at this time to where you just go, oh man, that team got better. Oh, this team, it is not easy, but I have a top 5. I'm ready for this.
So in that same way, I've got like so many honorable mentions because I was like, oh, I like those moves. I'll put them honorable mention. And I was like, oh, I've got like 5 or 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 honorable mentions.
Okay, so not allowed.
My top 5.
Let's start right there. Give me your one honorable mention, your top honorable mention. I have one honorable mention. I did the same thing. This is a team I had written down. I had a few honorable mentions, but I'm going to give one the shout-out. Do you have one for your shout-out?
Yes, I do.
And?
I'm going to go 49ers as my shout-out.
Okay.
Because I think figuring out a way to keep Eric Armstead.
Yeah.
I think you get a mid-first-round pick, 13th overall for DeForest Buckner. I think that's huge.
Right.
I think you keep Jimmy Ward. I think there was some doubt whether they could do that. And all this maneuvering with the cap, they got Parag Marate over there, who's a genius with this stuff.
A genius.
Maybe paves the way for an extension for George Kittle. So I think I almost put them in my top 5, but they just got edged out. But I think they've done well here so far.
I'm with you. They were on my list. I'm not going to give them my honorable mention award, but I hear you. A lot of people have a lot of negativity about, oh, we traded DeForest Buckner away. Listen, you can't pay everybody. George Kittle, like you just said, is going to command the richest contract in the history of tight ends. So you can't do that. You're already paying D Ford. You got to think about Nick Bosa's only 2 years away. Were you really going to be able to sign DeForest Buckner to be $22 million a year? No, probably not. And, again, I'm happy for the Colts and all that too, but what I would say to that, yeah, you're right. The 49ers, the team that won the Super Bowl, has the 13th pick in the draft. Along with the 31st pick in the draft. So
you're giving them the Super Bowl. You gave them the win.
Well, you can make moves to get into the top 10 when you have those type of assets. They can get, they can really do something drastic if they want to.
Right.
They could trade down and just accumulate picks, but I think I'm with you. People are missing that one. You just can't pay everybody this day and age. There's only so many assets you can have at one position, and I think they were smart to move on there from DeForest Buckner. I don't think DeForest Buckner is as good as Grady Jarrett or Akeem Hicks. To me, he's not Aaron Donald, and he's being paid like he's that kind of guy, and I just don't think he's quite there. Awesome player, but not there. My honorable mention is going to be the Cleveland Browns, all right? Yeah, it was tough for me not to put the Browns in my top 5, but I just felt like there were some other strong ones. I guess one of the listen, I love Austin Hooper at tight end. They needed that part of it. Do I think they maybe overpaid him a hair? Maybe. Okay, but I do like that. I do like Jack Conklin. I think Carl Joseph at the safety position is pretty damn good. A quality backup in Case Keenum. And then to keep Kareem Hunt with that second-round tender, those are all positives. They really were. This is a team that doesn't need a whole lot. We know they have a lot of good. I think this kind of just polishes it off to make them, make you feel a lot better about the whole roster.
They were one of my 21 honorable mentions. They were in that.
They were in your honorable mention too.
Yeah, they were in that group.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
So my number 5, and here's the rule. So if you have one of these teams in your top 5, you can withhold comment until we get to them.
Okay.
That'll be the rule here.
Okay.
So my number 5 is the Miami Dolphins. So they got Kyle Van Noy, obviously, big money deal, $51 million. Byron Jones, highest paid corner in the league. Now they got him and Howard together back there. And I know a lot of the commentary is like, well, they severely overpaid for both of those players. They're spending too much in free agency. But when you have the money and you have the cap space, and from what I've read, it's not really going to keep them from doing anything down the road. They still have a lot of room even with those 2 deals. They went big, and they got a couple of the most coveted players at their positions in free agency, and so I had to put them in my top 5 because they had a down year. People thought they were tanking. It's like, well, if you think you're tanking next year, go for it. And so now they're going for it. I like both those players.
Yeah, I do too, and I'm going to reserve for my no comment. They will be later on in my top 5.
Oh, wow. We have agreement there.
Yep,
okay.
I agree with you there. My number 5 team will be the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? And the Philadelphia Eagles, not a lot of moves. Not a lot of moves, but quality moves. Again, this is a team that's, got a lot of good, as we saw. I mean, they were in the playoffs last year. We're a banged-up team all year, too, and still got into the playoffs. But, I think when I really look at it, first off, I like the re-signing of Rodney McLeod. I'm a huge Rodney McLeod fan. Honestly think he's better than Malcolm Jenkins at this point of his career. He's been a little banged up, and that's been the issue with him here as of late. But to me, that was a great signing, all right? But Jalen Mills, another good player, value signing. But then Javon Hargrave, to me, is one of the gems of free agency. This would have been a guy that I would have thrown on, the old Robin Hood that we talk about, where I would just gone, yeah, he's not getting a lot of noise, but this is one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. When you want a guy to take on double teams and make a mosh pit, in the middle of a run game, Javon Hargrave's your dude. It's going to free Fletcher Cox up to do more. Malik Jackson to do more. I think that was huge. And then to trade for Darius Slay. I mean, Darius Slay is hands down one of the 10 best corners in football. I mean, I think you could argue he's top 5. If somebody said, hey, Chris, I think he's top 5, I would go, that's not crazy. I'm okay with that. I don't know if he'd make my top 5, but a huge need at that position. Their pass defense, they are limited in people that can cover people man to man, and Darius Slay can live on an island. So I love those 2 signings, let alone the other ones we talked about. To me, they were big time moves that really change and help their football team.
Yeah, the opposite side of the Darius Slay is my Detroit Lions. It seems like
are you voting for Bernie Sanders in 2020? Is that what that's for?
No, that's my guy. That's my guy. My favorite Lion, just ahead of Matt Stafford. But I know Slay has been awesome for him, and I don't know what happened with him and Patricia, but there seems to be a falling out there. So
yep.
They're moving on, and it's good. You're right. It's good to see the Eagles go for it because that division's wide open. The Cowboys are keeping their guys, but if you're gonna do it in any division, that's the division to do it. Spend big, try to get the advantage there because it's seriously wide open. My number 4. You ready?
Yep.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Whoa.
The Indianapolis Colts, they get Phillip Rivers. They may have overpaid for him just a little bit on a 1-year deal, but they got him. They got DeForest Buckner, as we previously mentioned, from the 49ers. And I think a real big deal for them was retaining Anthony Costanzo.
Yes.
On a pretty good team-friendly deal.
Definitely.
And so that's important. And here's Phillip Rivers. I think the past, I don't know, it might be 3 or 4 years, that offensive line in San Diego has not graded out that well.
Right.
And so this is going to be the best offensive line he's been behind in quite some time. And so I think that will help. Even if you think Phillip Rivers' best days are behind him, I think he could still have a huge season with some added protection. So I like what the Colts did. I think they're deserving of the number 4 spot.
I got no issue with it. They're not going to make my top 5. They were in my honorable mention list, right, that I had written down here for possible teams I could put in my top 5. I eventually didn't do it. I mean, those are 3 huge moves, like you said. They're game changers. They are. Phillip Rivers. Again, you made the right point. I mean, the offensive line's not been very good in front of him. This is going to be the best offensive line he's ever played in or behind, I should say. the system fit with Frank Reich and, his old coach from the Chargers being out there as well. That all makes sense. Now, it is Phillip Rivers. He is old, and I did see, a lot of blemishes in his play this year too. And I think that's ultimately like that and overpaying DeForest Buckner and giving away the 13th pick for it, I think are what just kind of left me off. Like, I know it. They improved their team. They had the money to do it. But I just feel like some other teams made some better moves, and that's why I didn't put them on. But I hear you there.
They didn't get the value for all those moves. They upgraded, but it could cost them down the road. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. And maybe not. Maybe it doesn't cost them, and Rivers is awesome, and Buckner dominates. And Costanzo, like you said, I mean, this is – he's a left tackle where you don't have to worry about helping him, and that's a huge advantage for any team. All right, my number 4, I'm going to a team like you. Didn't make a ton of moves, but the moves they made, man, I think they're game changers. I'm going to the Baltimore Ravens, okay? Baltimore Ravens, again, have continued their annual collection of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. That's what they do. If you're big, bad, fearless, and like to knock heads off for a living, come on down to Baltimore because there's a place for you. And that's what they do. I mean, Calais Campbell is one of the biggest humans ever on earth, still a really good player. You get him. Michael Brockers, a really awesome interior defensive lineman too, with like interior, like he can play 3 technique D tackle or DN. So he's really 2 positions in one. And that's the same for Calais Campbell. The Baltimore Ravens had a good defensive line, as we know, but they had no difference makers other than Matt Judon. And bam, right off the bat, they get 2 guys that are disruptors, difference makers, fit within the scheme, all of that. So I love that. Let alone they franchise tag Matt Judon. They couldn't let him go. He's the best pass rusher they got by far. Get Matt Skura back, who's a center, certainly good for their offensive line. But then another big one, that I think is kind of flying under the radar, they traded away Hayden Hurst for a 2nd-round pick. To me, that was smart by them. Hayden Hurst is a good football player, but they got really good tight ends there. They realized, like, damn, we're probably going to have to pay this Max Williams kid not Max Williams, the damn kid from Oklahoma. Man, I'm blanking on his name, the damn tight end. Holy cow, it's going to drive me.
We need Pete right now.
I'm going to have to pull up his name. It's driving me crazy. What the hell is his name? I'm blanking out. The ball went off his hands in the playoff game. Mark Andrews, thank you very much, you stupid Chris. But they know they have a plethora of players at the position already, and they knew he was expendable, and they got some worth for him right now. So then there's the Ravens again with, gosh, what do they got now? 2 2nd-round picks and a first. So they got 3 picks, in the top 60 or so. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, and you see some of the smart teams and how they're able to do it. Move around some assets, have some redundant parts of the team that are deep, and try to figure out how to get more draft capital that way. That's the one reason why I thought the 49ers maybe would make a play for Tom Brady, because they knew he wanted to go out there, and you could replace Garoppolo with him. Even if you didn't think Brady was better than Garoppolo, you could get some draft capital for him and try to supplement your team other areas. And so it seems like the Ravens are able to do that, and I love Matt Judon. He's my guy.
Well, yeah. Well, and just to clarify for everybody out there, like they have pick 28, pick 55, and pick 60 now, I believe in the draft. So when you have those type of assets, man, you can make some moves too. So if they wanted to trade up into the 1st round and get a real difference maker, they could do that.
My number three team in free agency so far. These are not final grades, right? Because this could still change.
Right.
You don't know. But a lot of these teams have made their significant moves already. The Arizona Cardinals, number 3, could probably just start and stop with DeAndre Hopkins. But they did that. They got out from under that David Johnson contract, which it didn't even look like they necessarily liked him as their backup anymore in Arizona. Got Jordan Phillips, 3-year deal, had 9.5 sacks last year. About 3 weeks ago, middle of February, they kept their 26-year-old offensive tackle DJ Humphries on a 3-year deal. So overall, I think it's been a really, really positive offseason for Arizona. Number 3.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a little high for me, but I'm with you there. I like what they've done so far. You know, they're a team again that made the honorable mention list for me. You know, you're always gonna make when you get like, come on, when you go on to get a difference maker like DeAndre Hopkins. You know, I don't care what I think all the time. I mean, hey, they got a guy that they really valued. They got a young quarterback. You know, and they're going for it, and they're going to try to make him, you know, look successful. He's the main guy in there. But I mean, the Kenyon Drake thing, amazing to acquire, you know, to get rid of the David Johnson contract. Jordan Phillips, really underrated defensive tackle they signed, who's going to help their defensive line out. So I'm not mad at you. I think you're a little high there, like not literally just high on them, but just a little bit. I'm going to go my number 3, the Chargers. All right, the Chargers.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we'll see where this goes. I'm interested to see with the Chargers if they get into the Cam Newton conversation. You know, there's some rumors out there that, you know, they're tossing around the idea. So that would be really interesting to find out regardless. But the thing I like about the Chargers, as I get back to task here, is they had real issues. Offensive line for sure, okay? And that's where I want to start. I mean, first off, to trade and get Trey Turner, who's a very good guard, been to a bunch of Pro Bowls. Great job there. Then to sign
who you're not as high on as a lot of people, but you still think he's solid.
Yeah, it's a really big positional need for them. And yes, I don't think he's as awesome as everybody thinks he is, because I think a lot of people are just going, "Well, he's made the Pro. He's young and he's made the Pro Bowl the last few years." Okay, yeah, he's very good. I get it. But I'm not going to say he's one of the best guards in football. He's a good guard. He's certainly an improvement. Brian Bulaga, to get him, you know, I thought that was huge. I honestly thought Bulaga at this moment right now is better than Jack Conklin as a right tackle. Now, he's older and he's got some injury history that's scary, but they needed it nonetheless. Re-sign Austin Eckler. Sign Linval Joseph. They need help in their interior run defense. That's been an issue there. Hunter Henry franchised. Hey, that's a great thing. I mean, he's got a potential to be a top-tier tight end. And then Chris Harris Jr. So, you know, you need to have a great defense if you're in the AFC West. You're not going to win shootouts against Patrick Mahomes, so you better get a defense that can maybe slow them down and do that. And I think they did a lot of great things, not only to help their offensive line, but to help the defense out too.
I left something off. It was late breaking news on my Cardinals. So can I go back real quick on my Cardinals?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
Devondre Campbell.
Oh, you know what? I did see that. And that's a good one, too. There's no doubt. Devondre Campbell, I think he signed, I saw, a 1-year, $8 million deal?
Yep.
He is,
26 years old.
Yes. Tall, long, extremely athletic. You know, I could see he's probably not happy of some of the long-term deals he got offered, so he said, screw you, I'll sign a 1-year deal, ball out so I can get a big deal next year, and I think he's got the potential to do that.
My number 2 team is the Chargers. I had them at number 2 for all the reasons you just said.
Cool.
And I will add this. I don't know if you mentioned Linval Joseph, too.
Yes.
Did you mention him?
I did.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. All good. Don't worry.
I think, you know, I was working in Norfolk, Virginia for about 6 years and covered Tyrod Taylor when he was at Hampton High School.
Right.
And then also when he was at Virginia Tech. And I think he has a shot to be the guy that's kind of like in that Ryan Tannehill mold from last year.
Sure.
You know, the guy that showed flashes and given an opportunity on a good team and a good scheme around him, I think he could have his best year yet. And I know that you think he's gotten those opportunities before and has been maybe a little too safe, but I'm not so sure that hasn't been scheme and less him, because he was a highlight machine when I covered him in college and in high school, and I think he has that ability, and I would like to see him get that shot. You mentioned Cam Newton. I think that would be a good move for them, but if they don't go that route, I think it'd be interesting to see Tyrod Taylor get a legitimate shot.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you there. There's a lot to like about Tyrod Taylor. Listen, he does a lot of good things. He can make plays. He's got a big arm. You know, he can scramble. Yeah, at times I think he's a little conservative, you know, to where, you know, I use the phrase sometimes as a guy that won't win you games but won't lose you games either. Mm-hmm. Now, their team, the way it's built, is built to play that way, and that's fine. He fits that. So I understand that. Plus, he was on a team that was like this a few years ago, the Buffalo Bills, except the Chargers have more weapons than the Bills did on the offensive side of the ball. So I think he can do more. I don't even know if I mentioned Austin Eckler and the re-signing him. That was a great job by them. But, Anthony Lynn, you just got to remember, he's a ex-running back. He wants to run the ball. They have a defense that's top 5 in football, and then they've improved it here. So I think that's the way they're going to play. I think they're going to be that type of team that goes, our defense is good. Tyrod Taylor won't mess up. We're going to run the ball. We're going to take some shots down the field. And, they're going to be perfectly happy playing games to win like 20-17. That's what I think the Chargers are opting to do right now. And I get that. And I hear your points. And I root for Tyrod Taylor, too. He's a great guy.
Your number 2.
My number 2 was your number 5. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins as my number 2. Yeah, I love what the Miami Dolphins did. You hit on it, but okay. You're trying to build something there, right? First off, Brian Flores comes from New England, and, what do they value in New England? What are we seeing right now? Secondary play. He puts a lot of pressure on his corners. I know people out there are going, man, they overpaid for Byron Jones. No, they didn't. They didn't. I'm just telling you, anybody that's watched Byron Jones and studied him, when he is healthy, you go, that is definitely one of the 5 best corners in football. He is special that way. And they put a lot of pressure on their corners. So him and Xavier Howard, they're going to be in the convo for the best duo in football. So that's special to me. You want a guy like Kyle Van Noy. I don't know why everybody's mad at Kyle Van Noy being paid now. When he was in New England, he's awesome. Oh, he's great. And then somebody else pays him, and everybody's like, why would they pay him that much money? Well, you've been telling me he's great for the last 2 years. I don't.
Because every Patriot loses their magic when they leave New England.
Right. Well, I don't think he's going to lose his magic. I think this guy, and he's going to a place that's going to run a Patriot defense, and they're going to use him the same way. He's a good player. He can do everything. Defensive end, middle linebacker, outside linebacker. He's great on special teams. He's a playmaker. And then, Eric Flowers. I like that. Eric Flowers, he's found a niche at guard. Or tackle, whatever they want to play, but he's resurrected his career. He definitely has, to where I like that signing, and they didn't have to pay huge money. But it's these other two, Shaq Lawson, Emmanuel Ogbah. Those are, again, not household names. I'm not sitting here expecting Ahmed Fareed to know what they look like or what they do. Yeah, I hear you. I'm Johnny Film guy though. And these guys have size and versatility on the defensive line, which we know is the New England Brian Flores way. So I think they're great system fits, culture fits. They're really going to help their football team. I think they've killed it in free agency. I don't give a shit how much money they spend on corners. If that's what the strength of how you coach to need to be successful, and, I'm all for having strengths of a team at times, because then it just can cancel out factors. They're going to play a defense where they're going to go, yep, hey, your outside receivers, they're don't even think about it. And now that's going to pin teams to go, ooh, we got to work the middle of the field or we got to run. And Brian Flores is going to know that. And then he's going to design a defense with 9 other guys to that up. So that's where I like that when teams kind of go in on one position. I don't think it's crazy what they're doing there. I like it.
And it's this way with every sport. You hear, oh, they overpaid in free agency. They overpaid in free agency. That's the whole idea of free agency. You have to overpay to get the player. If there are 5 teams offering the same contract, guess which team is going to go to? The team that offers a little bit more than everyone else was willing to go.
Exactly.
And so that's how you have to play free agency. Ultimately, you just want to get the player. You want to get the player, and they were able to do that with both of them.
That's right. They're trying to change their team. So if they had to pay an extra $1 million for a guy that they really felt like was going to help, you do it when you have as much money to spend as the Miami Dolphins did. So yeah, I'm with you. And there was another point I was going to make, and I totally blanked out on it, and I can't remember what I was going to say. What else did you say there? The free agency point. There was another point. Oh, here's the other point with the Dolphins that people are missing too. They got a ton of draft picks. They're going to have a ton of guys on rookie contracts, so they can afford to overpay these people. they have some young stars on their team from last year where, they're young and draft picks. So they're going to have a lot of guys on their roster on rookie contracts, which can allow them to maybe spend a little bit extra money for some of these veterans, and I got no problem with that.
The interesting thing is that if you bring in Kyle Van Noy, you bring in Byron Jones, you pair him up with Howard. I mean, this is a team in many respects that's built to win now. A lot of people think they go with the rookie quarterback in the draft and, kind of do the Kyler Murray thing where you give him some experience in year number 1, but you don't want to necessarily waste 1 year of Van Noy and Jones either.
No. I mean, well, I think, again, the way they're improving the defense, though, it sets up for a young quarterback to where you go, okay, we can have a young quarterback in here, and we don't need him to win the game right from get-go.
Sure.
So maybe that's the way they're looking at it. Either way, they've improved their defense, and even for Ryan Fitzpatrick, we know they got some, they got a little potential in offense. We'll see how they do with the Shan Gailey thing, but it makes it to where if they want to ride with Ryan Fitzpatrick and have the rookie sit behind him for a year or two, to where you don't have to put the pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick to win you games either. And so I get what they're doing. But Flores, Chris Greer, they're going to build something here in Miami. I have no doubt about that. They're just too smart. They understand the game, and I got a lot of faith in them.
My number one team.
Oh, baby.
The number one, and we stay in Florida. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Homer.
I've never even been to Tampa. But Tom Brady, you sign him. Yeah, I know he's not the Tom Brady of old, but it totally changes the whole dynamic of the franchise with one player. So you bring in Tom Brady, and then you get the reports that there are so many other free agents out there, veteran free agents, that want to go play in Tampa right now and want to go play with them. I'm sure the no income tax, state income tax doesn't hurt there in Florida, but you got Tom Brady. You don't know who they're going to add yet. You hear the rumblings out there, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, the Rams may be moving on from some guys, Antonio Brown. There's going to be someone else that comes out there that wants to play with Tom Brady on the offensive side. You franchise Shaq Barrett. You keep him for another year. They'll hopefully work out a long-term deal with him. You mentioned Jason Pierre-Paul on the 2-year deal.
Yep.
I think when you step back and say which franchise totally remade their team and their image and their trajectory, I think it was the Bucs.
Well, yeah, I think if we remade their image, you're for sure they win that one. They do. It's awesome. I mean, I'm pumped for it. I really am. Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't put them in. They were in one of those honorable mention teams again. I understand the levity of the 3 big names. I guess I just look at it and go, well, 2 of them they already had, right? It's still great.
Yes.
I did nothing that bad, and I love the Brady thing. I get it. I just felt like there was other teams out there. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, it changes the whole dynamic of the NFC. There's a wave
now going towards Tampa.
There
is
a
wave of momentum.
No doubt about it. So, okay, I mean, I'm not mad at you.
It sounds like you're a little bit mad.
Well, you're a fame whore. You're a fame whore. That's all it is. And you went Tom Brady. He's the most famous guy. I'm going to go with him. I get it. You're such a whore that way.
Yeah. I'll take that.
My number one, though, is another team that, I think you had them. I don't know if you had them on your list or not, actually. Now I'm blanking out. The Buffalo Bills. Okay?
No, I didn't have. They were in my honorable mention. They as well, like you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. One, blood is in the water. Okay, like we talked about earlier, New England is there to be had right now. The AFC East is there to be had. You got to go for it. I hear a lot of people going, "Oh man, they gave away a lot for Stephon Diggs." Okay, I get that, but they needed to make a drastic move. They needed to get a legit number 1 receiver or weapon around Josh Allen, and they found a guy that obviously they liked and I think really fits their system and scheme. Brian Daboll was working in I know New England loved Diggs coming out of the draft. Daboll was there in New England at that time. And there's Daboll as the offensive coordinator of the Bills now. So I think it makes sense. And I think people, too, are overvaluing what the Vikings got. Listen, okay, they got a first. Well, let me just make sure I get this right here. They got a first, a a fifth, a sixth, and a 2021 fourth-round pick. Listen, I don't give a shit about the fifth or sixth-round pick. I'm sure they'll get a good backup or a good special teams guy in Minnesota, but who the cares? You're getting a change of player, game-changing player in Stephon Diggs. So, listen, when you trade away a first, a second, a third, even a fourth round, I look at it and I open my eyes up. When I hear fifth and sixth round, I don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, they got the first and the fifth and sixth round? Holy shit, they fleeced them. Whoa. No, I just don't feel that excited about those.
I wonder what the percent chance or the percentage of making the team that drafts you in the fifth and sixth round and seventh round.
It goes
because I feel like a lot of times there are those players that are going to be drafted in the sixth round or seventh round. They don't want to be drafted. They want to have their pick of teams out there. They want to be the undrafted free agent, so they have a better chance of making the team than the fifth and sixth round guys.
No doubt about it. They can pick their team and the situation that they think suits them best to where they can be successful. So, no, I think, the success rate of second, third, fourth rounders, last I looked or saw anything, and I can't remember exact numbers, it's pretty damn good. If memory serves me correct, the later round picks, it's not as good as far as success rate and what they do. So, they gave a first and a fourth round pick, and then they threw in a fifth and sixth with it. Okay, great. I don't think that's that expensive if you think that's your guy, and they obviously do. So okay, I love that.
So let me ask you real quick about that because I'm curious about how he pairs with Josh Allen because Josh Allen hasn't been known to be the most accurate passer out there, and Stephon Diggs is known to be maybe the most precise route runner in the NFL right now. Do you think that Diggs being there makes Allen better? Do you think Diggs being there he'll become frustrated because Allen's not hitting him where he wants to be hit? How do you think that works?
Yeah,
out?
well, okay, too, and I'm gonna get to it. The other thing too, I just want to mention to button up that trade thing. I'm gonna go right to where you're going. It's just again too, we got to remember Stephon Diggs is signed up. I mean, he's signed up. You got to remember there's great value in that, and he's only getting $12 and $13 million a year. So Buffalo looked at that and went, me. He's our number one receiver. We got him locked up for a few years. Fine. And we're not paying him huge money. So I think they looked at that. Now, your question is, hey, yes, does Josh Allen need some improvement accuracy-wise? Certainly. I get that. It's not perfect yet. We saw a lot of special from him, too. Diggs, to me, is the perfect fit there for this reason. Diggs, as you know, like we saw in the NFC divisional game, he can line up on the outside and just beat you deep and say, hey, throw it deep to me. I'll go get it, and we'll score a 70-yard touchdown. He has those capabilities, let alone he has the ability to do the Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type stuff that a New England offense will ask you. So he's got value in the slot as a precise route runner to what you're saying. He's a great route runner. So he's really going to be able to do a lot of different things in this offense, and I think it's an offense that really will be able to utilize all his talents. That's where I think it's special. I also hear people, Josh Allen down the field accuracy. Now, who the hell has he had to throw to downfield? Again, I know John Brown can run. John Brown's like 5'8". He's not exactly like a big target, all right? And there's a reason John Brown's been on 3 different teams. He's not like – I love how nobody talks about him when he's on other teams. And then he goes with Josh Allen, and people are like, he's got John Brown. I want to be like, yeah, you mean the guy that's been on 3 different teams in 4 years? I get it. He's good, but he's not like this superstar. I think it fits well. Sorry, I'm rambling. And then just the hit on the other ones I liked. They got some of those value guys I like. Mario Addison, defense end pass rusher, solid 8 to 10 sacks a year type of guy. Quentin Jefferson from the Seattle Seahawks, defensive end, defensive tackle, just an ass kicker. Never going to have sexy stats, Ahmed, but just really an ass kicker, the kind of guy you got to have on your team. Vernon Butler, who's an ex-first-round pick on the Carolina Panthers when Sean McDermott was still down there as a D coordinator. He's got familiarity with them. It's a guy that has potential when coached right and maybe prodded the right way to where I go, he's huge and he's athletic. He could be a game changer. So I look at some of those, and then getting Josh Norman too, who still has some value for a pretty affordable price. I just look at that, and I think Buffalo won free agency because of that. Tough call. A lot of good teams out there, but I'm going with Buffalo as my champ.
I didn't have him in my top 5, but I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
I'm not mad at you.
Don't steal my lines.
I'm not mad at you for putting him in there because I do. I'm with you. I'm all for getting the player. Like I think a lot of people have fallen in love over the past few years in every sport. I think baseball, I see it a lot, and football, you see it a lot. They've fallen in love with the potential of that prospect, the number 1 pick. Give me the player, especially in football when everything changes from year to year. You have no idea if you're going to be relevant 2 years from now. You might as well go for it this year. I'm with you. Get the player, which is I think why I had the Cardinals in there, and getting Hopkins, which is the Bills. I think are one of the. Get the player. Give me the known commodity, and then see how it plays out.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm with you. That's the way I think about it too. And hey, to talk about the Arizona thing too, just real quick, because I hear a lot of people going like, "Oh, Bill O'Brien got fleeced in that one," right? People look at it and just go, "Man, they gave DeAndre you gotta, again, people gotta take in the contract conversation in these things. I'm sure Billy O'Brien and the Texans already have inklings that DeAndre Hopkins was going to ask for $20 to $22 million a year. And they went, damn, we got to pay Deshaun Watson maybe this year, next year for sure. Can we really do all of that? So they had to make a decision there. They obviously valued David Johnson maybe higher than the public does. David Johnson's still good. And it's not like, he fits a lot of roles in what Houston wants to do too. Plus, Houston got a 2nd-round pick. So I know that's not easy to swallow. I think it's a great trade for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm just saying I don't think the Texans got over like everybody else is trying to say. That's my only point.
And what a good dude that DeAndre Hopkins is too, coming out and saying that all the
stuff was blown
out around, about
Billy
Billy O'Brien was blown out of proportion. I mean, you knew DeAndre Hopkins was a stand-up guy. All his teammates love playing with him, and you've met him before. You hung out with him in New York City, right?
My guy, man. I love Nook. Nook is a great dude, and receivers, we know they all kind of got some diva in them, but for a top-end receiver, I think he's got about as little diva in him as you're going to find at that position. I'm a huge fan of D-Hop.
You mentioned a guy already. I forget who it was in your Robin Hood category. Can we do a couple Robin Hood players? Do you have a couple written? Oh, there you are. There's Chris.
In the forest with lots of green around me. That's what I like. I plan on having lots of green around me tonight, Ahmed.
Just stay out there, quarantine yourself in the forest with a lot of green.
A lot of green.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
So Robin Hood guys, I forget who you mentioned before, but you did
I think it was Jordan
one.
Phillips. I think I mentioned on your Arizona Cardinals, right?
So who are some other, under the radar guys who maybe we're not talking about that could be a huge sign? We're talking about them, week 9 or something like that.
Yeah, well, okay, there's a few that jump out to me, and I want to make sure I got my list here just totally ready here. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Let me just make sure. Sorry, wrong text I'm on here.
I had one with Michael Brockers. You already talked about him. He might be a little too high profile.
No, but that's the kind of guys I'm talking about when we talk about like this whole topic. It's guys that didn't get any like media attention, notoriety. No, he's not a household name, Michael Brockers, but just a guy that's been, an absolute ass kicker the last few years. So you mentioned Jordan Phillips of the Arizona Cardinals. That would be one guy right off the bat that jumps out to me. All right. DJ Reader, Cincinnati Bengals. I know you've heard me talk about him before, but when you talk about some of the best nose tackles, shade nose tackles in all of football, DJ Reader is one of those guys. To me, that was a great signing by the Cincinnati Bengals. 4 years, $53 million. Not going to ever have a lot of sacks, not going to ever have a lot of tackles, but he's going to make a mess of things for opposing offenses, and that's his real value. A'Shawn Robinson, Los Angeles Rams. Rams are kind of, as we know, they're kind of retooling their team right now. A'Shawn played in Detroit. I think he was kind of in and out of the doghouse with Matt Patricia a lot. But, man, big, huge, athletic human being who I've seen enough for me to go, ooh, he gets coached right and gets in a place that, maybe he likes better or whatever. I would say watch out for him. I mean, I always thought he was special coming out of Alabama, and I think he was pretty damn good when he did play up in Detroit. So I like that a lot, all right? Those are my 3D tackles. Jimmy Ward with the 49ers. You mentioned him in your top 5. Like, Jimmy Ward, to me, is like the honey badger for the Kansas City Chiefs. He can do everything. He's got an attitude, and he flies around the field that I just don't think he kind of gets the attention and value he should out there. And I think they got him at a pretty affordable deal. I mean, what was it, 3 years, $28 million, something like that. For that Seattle defense you're playing, you need a guy in that back end who can fly around like Earl Thomas. He's their Earl Thomas. Another safety, Sean Davis from Pittsburgh, went to the Washington Redskins. Man, Sean Davis is a special athlete. Him paired up with Landon Collins, I just would go watch out. Sean Davis is one of those guys, Ahmed, that again, like Jimmy Ward or a honey badger, can really do everything. Was a college corner that got moved to safety. I mean, to me, great tackler, great speed and athleticism. He's going to change around that defense in Washington. It's a 1 year, $5 million deal, if I remember correctly, but big time there. And then 2 more I got, all right? One, this is a bigger name. Robert Quinn of the Bears. I don't know why, but I feel like people in Chicago are down on it. And I want to go, why? I mean, Robert Quinn with Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman and Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody out there. He's better than Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd might have been younger, okay, and maybe a little more versatile in the things he could do. But if you want a pure pass rusher, Robert Quinn's still special. I mean, Robert Quinn was the best pass rusher on the Cowboys last year. He was better than DeMarcus Lawrence. And they didn't pay, like, huge money for him. So that was one where I don't understand the negative backlash I've seen kind of on social media about that signing. I think there's a real value there, and that makes that front 4 scary. And then my last one, because this team's always got Robin Hoods, is Damiere Byrd, all right, receiver that the Patriots signed from Arizona, who got hurt a little last year, but early on in the year, it was kind of like Kyler Murray's go-to guy. To me, he's perfect New England material, can just do everything. He's not going to be a superstar, but he'll be one of those guys next year we look up and go, man, who is this Damiere Byrd guy? Where'd they find him? He's really good. He just fits the mold to me. So there's my list of Robin Hoods so far here in free agency.
I've got 3 more to tack on here.
Awesome.
See if you agree.
Yeah.
One was Joe Schobert.
Okay.
He signed with the Jaguars. He's definitely not you were describing some athletic players out there. He is not that. But
he's still pretty damn good, though. He's pretty
durable,
damn athletic.
productive.
Right.
I think he led the Browns in tackles this past year.
Yep.
5-year deal with the Jaguars, so that's kind of interesting to me. The Packers signed a guy with a little bit of an injury history. Christian Kirksey, 27-year-old. 2-year deal from Cleveland.
Right. I like that. I mean, he's physical. He's a thumper. They needed more of that type of a, he's athletic still, but I think he plays the run better and with a more aggressive downhill style than they had in Blake Martinez, who left and got signed by the Giants. So I'm with you. That was one that jumped out to me too, Ahmed. I like that as well.
He's a good team guy, too. I was reading up on him a little bit more. He's a former captain at Iowa, and he was a team captain for the Browns in 2018. He was just 25 years old. And so when healthy out there, really well respected, and hopefully he can stay on the field for the Packers. And the last one was that Denver acquisition, not a free agent signing, but when they traded for Jarrell Casey for the 7th-round pick from Tennessee. Had a shoulder injury last year, but he's been key for Tennessee over the last 9 years, and that could be huge for Denver.
Definitely. They don't have a, interior disruptor like that, so that's going to be, they got some guys in like DeMarcus Walker, and there's another player I'm forgetting about that I like who, they drafted a kid from Ohio State last year who have potential, but, again, I think what you're seeing too there, first off, to only trade a 7th-round pick, for Jarrell Casey, all it was is if you like the player and you got the money, he's good for you. So he fits them. But what we're seeing in the AFC West is a demand on defense by the other 3 teams not named the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos improved their defense. And you go, wow, Broncos, Casey, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb's going to be back next year. You start to look at that front four and you go, holy crap, that's good. Chargers have improved their defense. Raiders have improved their defense. And I think that's all the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes factor going on out there.
Before we go, Chris.
Before we go, here we go. Where are we going?
Let's wrap it up with playing the Brady Feud. This is not the Family Feud. It's the Brady Feud. And the contestant is me. I'm the contestant. You have the answers for this. We're going to talk about the best things about being a Bucs quarterback, 1 through 5. Survey says. Before we get to that, I believe we have a picture of you and Tom both sporting the Buccaneers uniforms. There it is. This is before the update, Chris. Is
well,
what you're
my
wearing
uniform
there.
is better. That jersey they got there is ugly. So I got
Wonky,
a little.
yeah.
They're supposedly going to change back to a jersey that's similar to the one I'm wearing, which I think Brady will look really good in. So I like my uniform better. I'm not necessarily sitting here to say I look better than Brady. Brady's handsome, and look, his hair's perfect. Mine's all crazy.
I was going to say, you beat him in the jersey department. He beats you in the hair department.
He definitely does.
Although that hair may be photoshopped too. We really don't know. I mean, clearly the jersey is photoshopped. I don't know if that is genuine hair.
Well, no,
it's
it's not the jersey. Yeah, his face is photoshopped. That's Josh McCown, I think, when he was on the Buccaneers and they put Brady's face on there. That would be my guess.
You think that's his neck? You think that's Brady's neck, Tim?
Some of it. Oh, mixed half and half, right? That's about half. I think I can see exactly where his neck, and then it goes to Josh McCown's.
I go, that's not Brady's neck. I know Brady's neck. That's a half and half. Okay, so I still think you look pretty good in the uniform. All right, so top 5 things about being the Bucs quarterback in Tampa Bay. And so my first guess is I'm going to say the food, because there's a couple of steakhouses there that are very popular. I'm going to say food.
It's on my list. I mean, I wrote as what did I wrote? I made that my number 3 thing. Free food, free drinks. Ding. There are some great restaurants in town. Burns Steakhouse. The Brady family needs to go there.
Yes.
That's a staple of Tampa Bay, but yes, when you're the starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you call Burns on a Friday night at 7:30 and they tell you have no seats, and then you say, and then they go, who is this? And I go, this is Chris Simms. And they go, Mr. Simms, hold on a second. And then all of a sudden they have a table for you. That's a perk of being a starting quarterback, no doubt about it.
They go and check the depth chart really quick. And
they're like,
starting.
Who can we move, or where can we put a table? And for Tom Brady, they're certainly going to move a lot faster than they were for that's for sure.
All right, so that's the number 3. You got to go. Survey says before you reveal if it's on your list or not.
Okay.
My next one, I'm going to go with, because I do believe Florida. Florida is known for spring breakers. I'm going to say the nightlife scene is choice.
Well, yeah, survey says you're correct, okay? So, yes, I have this as my number 5 as far as nightlife, okay? Because I might have split this up. You might be thinking I've kind of split this up here a little bit. But
do you have multiple answers that deal with the nightlife situation?
I do. But as far as just getting into the cool club in the town, the cool night spot, the best strip clubs, okay? There's many of them in Tampa. All right, that's maybe the nightlife you were referring to. You definitely you're not going to have to wait online, all right? And they're usually going to give you a really good seat or spot in the club or the strip club. So, yes, that did make my list. That was number 5.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go. My next answer is I'm going to go the fans, because you've spoken very highly of the fans there in Tampa. Did they make your top 5? No.
No, they didn't. They should have. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, what an asshole I am. I mean, all of it is prefaced around the fans, though. That's where, everything I have here on my list is pretty much because of the fandom there. People don't realize it is a awesome football town. Yeah, maybe there's not a bunch of millionaires and billionaires walking around to where everybody can have season tickets all the time. So that, I think that adds, because you see the stadium and people go, oh, it's not full. What's going on there? Okay, so maybe there's not that great wealth everywhere. But, man, they love their Bucs. They love them. They love football. Florida is a football state. High school, college, football. I mean, Tampa's not far from the University of Florida, right? Which is SEC country, which is psycho football fans. That's the kind of environment you got to remember. You're not too far down the road from that type of guy, and it is an amazing fan base. So sorry, that didn't make my list, though, even though it's kind of encompassing on all my answers here because I was spoiled with some of these things because the fans were great, and therefore it helped me out.
I think that is a misconception, though, about Tampa.
Right.
Is that it's not they don't care.
No.
But I think they've just been given some teams that have not been very good throughout the years, and so that hurts the fan base in general. It doesn't matter where you play. In New England, that could happen.
You're right. And never had that, star quarterback. That's where they're thirsty for this. When I was down there and lost my spleen, the Bucs got very involved in the Brett Favre conversation the year he picked to the New York Jets. They wanted that guy. That franchise superstar type quarterback, and they got it. And I'm telling you, they're going to roll out. He's going to be the king of that city, the king. I mean, he's going to be shocked with how much people love the sport and the Bucs and are so passionate about it. So, yeah, sorry that didn't make my list. But I guess if I went to go into order, my number 4 thing about being the starting quarterback in Tampa Bay would be, a little like the restaurant thing. You can find a tee time anytime you want, any golf course, any tee time, any golf course. I didn't play a ton of golf, but, when I did, and if I had a friend with me or teammates with me, hey, Chris, you want to go play golf? Yeah, sure. They'd ask me, all right, so where do you want to go play? I'd be like, I don't know. You're the one that invited me. And, I had a few teammates every now and then be like, well, can I call this place and name drop you? And I'd be like, okay, dude, fine, go ahead. So you definitely have that ability to kind of get on any golf course you want when you're the starting quarterback. Brady will be able to do that in his free time if the family's not there and enjoy it for sure. Some good golf courses around.
So, yeah, what are the other 2 that I didn't get? We got nightlife, we got food, we got golf.
Well, it goes into the nightlife thing. I mean, the women, okay?
I was including that with my nightlife.
I know you were. I know you were, but I separated them because they were
I didn't
very
know you'd
separate.
split that up.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's Florida. There's a lot of girls with very limited clothing on, as you can imagine, especially in the summertime, all right? And when I was single, hey, I came from the University of Texas where people are always like, man, you were the quarterback at Texas. That's really cool. Hey, that was really cool. But I'm just telling you, when you're the starting quarterback of an NFL franchise and, people know you're getting paid a lot of money too, the woman, 99 problems, but a woman wasn't one, okay? All right? And my wife, I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast because she's not
We're an hour in. We're an hour in. There's no way she gets to the end.
All right, good.
The end of this one.
Good. And then number 1 was just I just went the money. I mean, the money when you're the starting quarterback is pretty, kind of hard.
It's not specific to Tampa, but still, I guess it's no matter where you play.
No, you're right. That's not specific.
But maybe
to Tampa.
your money goes farther in Tampa.
Does go farther in Tampa. You're right. It's not a totally crazy expensive town. You can have a lot of fun there, but you're right. I guess that didn't really count. So that wasn't that good of a number 1. You know what? I'll just say this because we're going too long. We've got to end this.
Yes.
One of the coolest things, though, ever about being the Tampa Bay starting quarterback, which was not long for me, but man, the offseason after we went to the playoffs, they put a huge, poster on the side of the stadium that was probably 5 stories tall of me. And that was one of those things where when I first saw that, I pulled over to the side of the road and was like, damn, I made it. I've gotten to where I want to go. And that was really cool to be notarized as, hey, this is one of the faces of our franchise. And that was a moment where, I would admire that quite often, in private.
You immediately stopped practicing and didn't put in the effort after that because you already achieved
Chalked it up.
The pinnacle. Yeah, I'm done. It's all over.
That's it, baby. All right.
Cool.
We good? We got everything done? We got everything in?
I think we're good. We hit everything. Yeah, that was fun. That was probably the most fun hour I've had over here the past few days. So that was cool.
All right, good. Well, we're going to continue next week. I think we're going to go Tuesday, Thursday for sure. I think I'm going to be in the office. I've been granted permission because of Pro Football Talk. It's going to be limited people around me, but that will start back up normal on Monday. Podcast probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday maybe being that film deep dive. Not sure about that yet because not sure how many people are going to be in the building here in NBC. But Ahmed, it was great to see your beautiful, handsome face. It really was. And Barry Sanders. And I didn't hear your kids yell once during the rest of the podcast, which I'm disappointed.
I had to cover the microphone a couple times. They got loud.
Okay.
I covered it up.
I was probably talking too much. But everybody else out there, be good. Hope we entertained you for a while. We'll be back again to break all the news in football. What's going on? Going to get into some draft stuff next week. I've been watching these quarterbacks on film. Going to be interesting. Anything else you want to add there, big guy?
That's it.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Ahmed, you the man. Say hi to the family. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wash your ass. Peace out. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.